guys, it's Elizabeth here with a new video for you, and in today's video I am so excited to be doing this one because I kind of like teased it a few days ago and I got the best response ever, and I'm so excited to be helping you guys do this because this is something that I've known how to do for like a while now, and if I can help other people do it, then why not, right? So in this video, you read the title right. This was an actual ticket I bought. I moved to Sydney a year and a half ago, and the ticket was first class and it ended up being $28. So this is not the only ticket that I have got that has been this cheap. My family has been able to get tickets to Europe, Africa, like so many different places for under like $200, which is insane. So in this video, these are just some of my personal tips that have helped me get really cheap plane tickets, and I hope they can help you too. So obviously you love traveling, so if you want, you can check out my Instagram. I post lots of pictures of me exploring the world and just doing fun stuff, so all of those are linked down below or somewhere on the screen. I don't know, probably somewhere down on either of these things. So my first tip is using third-party websites. So when you are looking for a plane ticket, I think it's really helpful to not go straight onto the airline website, but you can go through websites such as Skyscanner, lastminute.org, Expedia. Like all of these different things are so good for booking plane tickets, and they're usually a lot cheaper than the actual airline's website. So my personal favorite would definitely be Skyscanner, and I found out about this website through a friend a few months ago, but I recently booked my first ticket through there to Melbourne, and it was like $150 return from Sydney to Melbourne. So that's a really good plane ticket price, and yeah, so it's just super cheap. Tip number 2 would be choosing certain days. So for different airlines, different days are cheaper, which is really helpful, but usually weekdays would be cheaper than a weekend. So sometimes Mondays are days that people just don't want to fly, and so it makes it a lot cheaper. Number 3 would be traveling on holidays, and I know a lot of people don't want to do this, but if you fly on like Valentine's Day or I don't know, Thanksgiving, a lot of people don't want to fly on those days, but if you aren't too worried about it, then the tickets are like a lot cheaper, so I would totally recommend doing that. So tip number 4 would be flying indirect. So say for me to get to Oklahoma from here, I have to go from Sydney to LA to Denver to Oklahoma. So basically it would be a lot cheaper if I booked a plane ticket from Sydney to LA rather than booking a plane ticket from Sydney to Oklahoma. So this makes it a lot cheaper because then you can buy a separate plane ticket from LA to Oklahoma, and then usually that's a lot cheaper for some strange reason. So basically just like splitting your trips into separate plane tickets instead of like having layovers is a lot cheaper in the long run usually. Sometimes this doesn't work, so I would recommend checking both ways out and just kind of calculating the cost and seeing what would be cheaper. But usually if you're willing to like spend a night in a place or you know, have a really long layover, then the flight will be a lot cheaper. So my next tip would be flying from an alternative airport. So lots of different towns and cities have multiple airports. And sometimes tickets will be cheaper from different airports. So if I lived in Tulsa and I wanted to fly from Tulsa, it could be different than me flying from like Oklahoma City. So it's just stuff like that. So check like nearby airports, and if you're willing to drive like an hour or two, then sometimes it can save you money in the long run. With that being said, if you're the kind of person who like road trips and like spends like $80 on food and then like more money on like a hotel, and like just be aware that everything does add up when you are road tripping. Last but not least, and my biggest tip of all, guys, can we take a second? This tip is something that has saved my family so much money when it comes to traveling. It makes it so that I had the opportunity to get a $30,000 first class ticket from Oklahoma to Sydney for only $30. Are you ready? I don't know if I could if I should tell you guys. My next big tip is air miles. So you may be like, wow, Elizabeth, that was stupid. You're dumb. But Air miles are one of the best things that my family has like discovered over the past couple years. So if you're not aware of what air miles are, whenever you buy a plane ticket, you receive air miles. And with those air miles, you're then able to use those air miles as cash, basically, and purchase your next one. So the airline that I fly is United, and I know there's a lot of controversy around that. So the airline I fly is United, and I know there's so much controversy around that whole airline, but for me and my experience with it, it's been so good. And also, it has so many different partner airlines. So when you are picking an airline that you want to kind of start building points with, I would recommend going with something that if you know you're going to be traveling to like a certain place like Africa or Europe a lot of, and then pick something that has those like partner airlines that travel to those places very often. United has a program called Mileage Plus, and basically every certain amount of points you get added like a new like milestone. So there's like silver, gold, that kind of stuff. And with each new level you kind of become more important, which sounds really stupid, but it really works. So like when you're traveling through airports, you can use like the lounges and get the free food. And then it also makes it so that sometimes you're eligible for a free upgrade. So with this specific ticket that I am talking about from Oklahoma to Sydney, I was eligible for a very cheap upgrade. So I had already purchased the ticket with air miles, and then the upgrade was like only a few like 1,000 more air miles, so then I just used that to get first class. Also, this helps because you're saving like so much money on first class, and then also you're saving money on bags, because when you're in first class you can have a lot more bags and a lot more carry-ons. That is basically my secret. I feel like I just like shared, I was just like I was vulnerable with the world. But I know a lot of you are wanting to travel lots. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you'd probably like to travel. So I would totally say go sign up for an air mileage website. It doesn't matter what airline you're signing up through, as long as that's something that you know that you'll be able to travel a lot with. I just want to say I think it's so amazing how fortunate I am to get to travel to these different places and how lucky I am, and I just am so thankful. And I love traveling, so if you guys have any tips of your own that you want to share with me, then comment them down below, because I would love to know. Always looking to save an extra buck or two when I'm traveling. Yeah, I guess that's it for this video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and to click the subscribe button wherever it might be. Also, as I mentioned, make sure to check out my social medias if you want to keep up with my travels and my adventures. All my links are down below in the description box. And yeah, I guess that's it for this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys!